South Africa, Australia. If it's the same sky on a globe, they should all be able to see them.
Fireworks don't go that high.
Are you trying to litter Antarctica?
Well, yeah, I mean, both littering, but also, yeah, they don't go that high. So, unfortunately, it won't work. But
Oh, bummer. All right. Well, back to the drawing board.
it would be
You
cool
need
though.
some Acme fireworks.
Still got it. Yasuke, lay it on us, man.
Yeah, I mean, no. When he first asked the question of like what could do to make the footage seem legit, like there's not really an answer there. But then he framed it as like what it could make him be legit, which is my answer would be just take a video of you guys walking down some stairs, and that'll do it, right?
Okay.
Wait, why some down?
Very
Some stairs?
Well, we
Don't
can
worry about
solve
it.
I know
that.
why.
They are men, and there's a 24-hour sun. Just wrap that up.
Yeah, you could say like you could tell him to get arrested for littering.
It took us a long time to get to this juncture in time and space.
I know. I've been thinking a lot about. I know, dude.
It's a long and winding road.
I'm about to go on another rant, but I'll try to be brief. But like, dude, just the whole thing of like, dude, if you were in 1986, you could not get a footage of the sun in Antarctica. Nowhere. If you were in 1992, you couldn't get it. 2001, you couldn't get it. 2008. It's just like amazing. Like, if you think about like someone like in 1996, it's like, oh yeah, Earth's totally a globe. And, oh yeah, the 24-hour sun in the north. Oh, I want to see footage of the one in the south. It would just be like white noise. You wouldn't find it. So it's pretty wild, dude. And the fact that we talk about how like there may be a lot hidden in Antarctica. There's a lot of gatekeeping going on with the controllers. Like we all talk about, there could be more going on there than we're being let off to be, you know, in the Antarctic Treaty. I mean, there's so many factors of what could be going on, or whether there's various things that could be there. So it makes sense that they have such a lockdown on it. Whereas in the north, how would they stop that in the north? You know, people go to Alaska, people go all over. You would never be able to like, you know, make the footage like hard to get in the north. But the south is a different deal, and the way they have it kind of locked down. So, dude, it is wild. And when you look at, you know, the claimed evidences and then getting all the way to this point, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a first in our era, really, in our time.
If you want to do a bit of research, there's a guy called James Clark Ross.
And furthermore,
Ricksky, you're hot micing. We heard those sneezes.
I got him.
It's okay.
Yeah, there was a James Clark Ross, and he apparently, I haven't read it, but like I'm trying to go through it, but he actually mentions the unusual daylight in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's one thing of like a lot of the testimonies that are given from like the 1800s that would be used as evidence for there not being a 24-hour sun does come from people who are just literal Freemasons. So that would just, if anything, more corroborate the idea that this idea was going to be planted into the flat Earth community.
Yeah, well, it sounds like a story because he joined the Navy when he was aged 11 and went on this journey when he was 18 with his uncle, who was the captain of
well, there was that, they call it the heroic age of Antarctic exploration, like in the mid-19 teens. Are you talking about that time? Or it would be interesting to see if we could get more documentation.
1836, the Arctic waters, this was the Arctic, but he goes to Antarctica, and I think it was sailing the Terror. But it sounds, and the Erebus.
Oh, okay.
They have that. It's a private club in Spain as well.
All right.
So like a little masony thing on my island.
Can you plant a tree there?
I think so.
Hold on, just real quick. This is from Shackleton, his writing, and this is in 1900, and it says, about midnight, we suddenly came to the end of a very high portion of the barrier. We entered a wide, shallow bay, which must have been the inlet where Borchgrevink landed in 1900. But it had changed greatly since that time. About a half a mile down this bay, we reached fast ice. It was about 12:30 at night, and the southerly sun shone in our faces. So that's Shackleton.
Yeah, they're calling it the Midnight Sun. So the reference to look out for is the Midnight Sun.
Here's another one. Ben just posted it. During the Belgian Antarctic expedition, 1897-1899, led by Adrien de Gelarche, crew members experienced the midnight sun while their ship, the RV Bellicia, became the first to overwinter in Antarctic waters. This unintended overwintering provided them with first-hand observations of continuous daylight in the Antarctic summer. So there's another one from 1899.
Isn't that guy a Freemason?
Yeah.
Adrien de
He-
Gerlache.
oh, okay. I thought that was the Shackleton guy because I know he's on the Antarctic $500 bill.
Can I take a second to make a shameless plug to all the friends I've lost along the way here that just are not around anymore to have been here for this moment either?
How's that shameless?
Hey,
Well, it's
shout him
not.
out.
It's not. You know. Shout out to Jibby Jedi. Shout out to Zulu One. Shout out to Sydney Earther. Shout out to Bob, the man, and I'm sure that there are others that I didn't have knowledge of. Maybe other people might
Rob
wanna say
Skiba,
something.
maybe?
Yeah, Rob Skiba, also Mac.
Yep.
Mac.
I don't want to use them all up. You know.
No, shout them all out, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
Blessings
Shout out
to
to
him.
Eric Dubé.
Dubé will have fun with this.
Yeah.
The king
Shout out
has
to
been,
Lemon Bird.
the king has been dethroned.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think that?
Not that he was a king, but he kind of seems to purport himself as that, but like the leader or something. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do you think that if all of this happens, because this kind of goes against the sort of stance that Dubé was very dogmatically like protecting and promoting in the beginning? You know, he was also one of the people that like was banning people in the original Flat Earth community on his like website thing before he got like banned off of the website, whichever his platform was posted on, and then made his own, but was still banning people for like questioning certain things about the model, which Antarctica was one of them. Do you think that he might pop up and do a video trying to push that this thing was fake, to play into the idea that people are already skeptical of it? And do you think that will make people end up flipping, because then they're going to be like, oh, but Dubé with a shill, and then so then they're not going to want to like believe in whatever?
Right. Well, this is the thing that what people talk about with Christianity, like that if I think people have said, like Matthew Learns, I think, has said, like if someone was a Christian and then had a flat Earth cosmology because of the Bible, and then they you know, in his viewpoint, he's a globe earther, so then realized it wasn't flat. He was like, oh, what if they throw the Bible away? You know, they give up on their faith because the Earth was different or whatever. Totally different example, but I'm just saying from his perspective, thinking that it is a globe, and then what he's like worried that flat earthers are going to be coming in slews like away from flat Earth once they realize it's a globe, then they're going to give up on their faith as well. But it just kind of links to kind of what you were saying, like like if people were really dedicated to Dubé, and then well, that's what I'm saying, dude. This might do like lines in the sand, you know, because a bunch of if Dubé, like you said, if he does a video that's like it's fake, and then it's just like not fake, and after time, like that, dude, that's gonna. I mean, talk about reputation. Like that's gonna. I don't know, man. It's drawing a line in the sand, and it's kind of. It's funny how Ruhiv said that, like separate the men from the boys, but yeah, it is kind of like a test in various ways.
Did you see how he pulled up all the videos of each other calling each other shields? That was a Duffy video.
No, I haven't seen it, but
Yeah,
I mean,
he's got everyone calling everyone a shield, and he's videoed it. So it's the video of them calling each other a shield. So he goes, that's his thing. And he says, then he makes a very funny statement about a social experiment.
You talking about Dubé?
No, Will Duffy. Yeah, he's got Eric Dubé calling someone a shield. He's got the Oakley, what's the Nathan Oak? He calling someone a shield. There's about 6 videos of each calling each other shields.
I got you.
Going, yeah, we got the
All right.
we got the OG calling each other shields.
Yeah, everybody calls everybody else a shill. Like
So he
Dubai
said,
calls
like,
everybody
that
who's not him a
community
shill.
is a bunch of shills.
Yeah,
He's
everybody
worded
calls
it
everybody
very
calls everybody
Alright.
calls everybody else a shill, and everybody is right.
Yeah, he's done it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say though, Yasuke? Were you gonna say a different point or on like or? I thought when he jumped in, you were-
Can in there. I had a different point, but it can wait.
Was it related to the Dubé thing?
Yeah, just with Dubé calls everybody a shill, and then some people will call him a shill. But it also just does go back into the point of if you're unwilling to call anybody a shill, then your shill detection is meaningless.
Yeah. And I agree with that.
I haven't. Has anybody put out any content that has like been shilly like content? Like it's about the content, isn't it? Like these people that people suspect. If you look at their content, I haven't really seen.
Well,
I mean, there's people like Alex
Banjo.
Jones.
Are you talking about with this or other things? But I mean, Banjo is going full blown. This is fake already. Like I saw the title of his video. He's like, so he's going full blown. See, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, what is a guy's reputation going to be? Like, no offense to Banjo, but if he just goes all out that this is fake and he's just wrong, what happens after a year of him doing that? And then he finally realizes there is a 24-hour sun there. Like, he's just cooked. Like after years of call, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. Like when it can be proven for 30 grand, which is a lot of money, but not that much. People, I mean, it's doable.
Yeah, it's also the problem of when they use just like horrible arguments, like the green screen thing. Like that is such a red herring. Is that if you are going to call it fake, that is like the lowest quality proof that should just be immediately dismissed.
You know what?
It's pretty bad. It is bad when it's also his TFE background. Like it's pretty obvious what it is.
Like I do think that that's why I'm very reluctant to just like jump on accusations of such things until like I see how things are like played through.
I think it's sorry.
You could tell Duffy knew there was a 24-hour sun there the whole time, dude. It was obvious. Whether he's been there, he knows someone for sure who's been there. Like
he did say he knows a couple people who've been in Antarctica for a while.
So did McToon, and then that's why when I was leading up, I changed from like 80 to 50-50. And then we first got here, we got a guide tour, our tour guide to tell us where to go. We broke up into two groups. I said, okay, those who think level means curve go over there, and we'll stay over here. And so we went in two groups, and the guy, the director, was like, okay, so what time does the sun set? And he just like so casually chuckled and like this just took it as a joke. He was like, it just goes round and round. And then he just started telling us like where the bathrooms were. At that moment, I knew there was a 24-hour sun. Like there was 0% chance that guy was the world's best actor deceiving me. 0% chance.
So is the Earth a globe?
But anyway.
But how do we know it's not like an infinite plane and in that spot there's a second sun that just keeps going round and round?
Dude, I'm not making any conclusive statements about what it means. I'm just saying that it's objectively there. You know what I mean? Like I think Joe Hanvey's idea is pretty interesting now. Like I don't know, but for sure this depiction that everyone. Wait, why not?
Well, because then where's the first sun going? It's like everyone is watching the first sun kind of go down there, and then it doesn't come back, and that's where the light is. So then when it comes back, and like you would think it would have to be the same sun pretty much, because there's only one sun for everybody to look at.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, no, because like if you look at his model, you have the like that reflected like apparent sun over there, and that just does circles, and there's always light over there around it. And so when we were in Punta Arenas, we were just watching like the sun, and then it just stayed lit up over in that direction. Well, that makes sense in that direction this time of year. Say if the sun actually goes that far out south, it has that little reflective effect. I'm not saying that's what's happening though. Okay, I'm just pointing out Joe Hanvey did make a model that is pretty wild. It shows it. It definitely shows the phenomenon. So, but it would be like seemingly it would be if it's a reflection, it would be like inverted left to right. That's why we're trying to compare all the sunspot data and see if that's the case.
Right.
Do you guys have any snippets of sunspots yet, or any like preliminary?
Yeah. I mean, when I first saw it, it looked like the sunspots were on the other side. So, like in Florida, they were on the right side, and then here they were on the left side. But like, it wasn't like a mirror where they were on the left side, and then there's two dots beside each other right now. I don't know how much you guys have looked into sunspots, but like if you look at like a time lapse or like a photo each day of the sunspots, it definitely looks like the sun like rotates. But anyway, I don't know. If you guys are gonna get triggered about stuff like this, I'm just not. I don't care. So the point is that where it's at right now, there's like really two sunspots that are really visible, and they're like one like kind of stacked on top of each other. One's offset to the right. And so the sunspots I was seeing was over to the left side. The ones that Melodon was taking were over on the right side. But they were a little bit lower on the right side and they were a little bit higher on the left side here. So it's like on the globe they claimed that to be flipped upside down.
They
Right.
wouldn't be flipped upside down. It'd be left to right, wouldn't it? Surely.
It's not on a globe.
It would be like
because,
100. It'd be like 180 flips.
I had my friend in part of Australia and one in Amsterdam, and they took a picture of the moon, and it was a crescent, and it was like not flipped upside down; it was left to right. So imagine I'm looking at the moon, and it's on the right, and in Amsterdam it's on the left. It weren't sort of like the one.
All right, that's bringing in a whole bunch of like we'd have to look into the exact positions and it's like getting and like what.
But it's pretty simple on a globe. It should be upside. You should be upside down. You know, you should be antipodal looking at the sun.
Yeah, it should be like the 6 and 9 thing. One of like what like it would be like north is 6, south is 9, right?
Yeah, so we got like people from all over the place taking the sunspot. If anybody in here has the bill, all you need is a solar filter. And based on your latitude, we want to take them at the same time. Though it's pretty important. We definitely can't take them like hours apart. You know.
Tell me what time tomorrow I could do it. What time are you going to be doing it?
Okay. I think we are going in a little flight at 2 p.m. here, so that's 12 Eastern. So we need to do it before that. Hey,
Before
what time do you think
12
we should like take sunspots tomorrow? Well, you know that we're supposed to take the flight at 2 here, which is 12 Eastern, which means 2 here. Yeah, no, I mean
What's
2
the
here
flight
time.
for?
We're going on a little. There's a little plane here that takes you around the area to show you all the different mountains and stuff.
Oh, that's nice.
If I take it at around 11:30, 12 noon here, that would be okay?
Just a sec, I'm coordinating with Jaren. Because Melodome takes really good shots of this sun as well. Yeah, let's say like 11 Eastern. Well, that's 1. Yeah. So right before we go, could you do 11 Eastern?
Consider it done. Yep.
Nice, thank you, sir. So, and you're all the way in Canada, right? Do you know what your latitude is, or if you don't want to say it, you can DM me or something.
I don't know exactly what it is, but I can get it and say it. No worries. But I'll
So we're gonna do
one tomorrow
11
at
Eastern.
11. Yeah.
Perfect. Anyone else in here that wants to take shots of it, do it. Just and then drop like your longitude and latitude. Yeah, I mean, really like your azimuth reading and elevation reading is good too, but just get your location ideally and your exact time as you take them.
I got something of an alternative observation that you can make while you're down there, Witsit. Do you mind if I sort of express it? If you think it's a good idea or not. This has got nothing to do with necessarily like looking what's up in the sky, but I'd be kind of curious because we hear stories, right, of the popes going down to Antarctica, various famous people going down to Antarctica. So I guess the question would be then, like, how could you find that information out? How are they treated when they land there? Do they come to the same place? Do they go to a different place? Maybe if someone already knows this information, but I'd be inclined to ask the tour guides and the people that are there, particularly ones that have been down there for like the longest period of time. Like, find out who's the most experienced person down there, and just find out if there are any people of notoriety when they go down, how they're treated, and all those sort of aspects. I thought that might be kind of a bit interesting.
Okay, cool. I'll ask. So from what I know, this company basically they have a place like at the South Pole here, a couple by the coast. One sees penguins, whatever. And like the South Pole is more expensive than here. And so I don't know exactly where those people normally go. It's very weird that they go here. No, like after being here and it's just like tons of ice. It's insane.
You're saying it's just crazy that humans have gone down there and set up a whole camp and the
Dude, to me, dude, Jared and I were just talking about that. It's like the fact that I was like, it's like the creator made this place for people not to come. You know, like it's so insane. And like, of course, humans don't stay here during the winter and the sun's not up. Like, it's insane with it up, non-stop.
Well, dude, without an airplane and equipment, how could you even go there? I mean, it'd be tough. I mean, we could talk about.
Dude, we were talking about that. Like, you're just gonna eat your dogs, bro. Like, you're done. You're gonna eat your like. The fact that people ever did that is actually insane.
Think about it, bro. You go down in the ocean, you meet pressure. You go up, negative pressure, let's call it, right? You go out into the ocean, it's salty. You go too far north, it's cold. You go too far south, it's cold again. It's like almost like it's been designed that way, right? I've been saying that for so long. The creator made it that way.
Yeah, dude, this is not. I mean, there are no animals here. You know, if you're somewhere that there are no animals, literally no animals.
And
Okay.
And no plants. So what would you eat? You just eating snow and dying? That's it? Like I'm saying, if
Yeah,
you had
you just die.
Yeah.
You just die.
The only life is in the water. Think about it. Under the water.
No
Well,
birds.
under the ice. Yeah.
No birds.
Yeah, there's not even birds here.
Yeah.
In terms of the famous people thing, though, those guys there, like since like Antarctica is there's not there could be spots we don't know about, but in terms of like spots people go, like these camps, like you're talking about, like the Union Glacier, the North Pole, I would suspect probably some famous people or notoriety type people have probably gone there, even with them. But I'd imagine they would like keep it confidential, you know. So if you ask them, they might not be like, oh yeah, Tom Cruise was here with his wife. Like it might not be like, you might not get that info. But I imagine famous people have been there. I mean, it's Antarctica. It's like an amazing trip. It's expensive. They can afford it. I imagine people have, famous people have been there.
I mean, that's kind of like it's set up for that. Right? It's set up for like one of the people here. He had been to every continent, so he had to come ski here, so he could say he did it on all 7 continents. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like you're just gonna spend the money just to be able to say that.
Sorry, I was just saying, you get a chance to do any compass stuff that we were discussing?
Yeah, what was so surreal is like the compass, right? Like on the way here and where we are is pretty accurate. So,
which compass are you using?
They all match. I mean, I have like a floating compass, a military grade compass, another mechanical compass, a digital compass.
Where are they all pointing? The same direction, north?
Where are they naturally pointing? Let me look. Yeah, north.
I knew it. Nice. And there's no craziness. It's not wobbling or turning or doing any crazy shit.
Well, I knew that. Expected, though, SE. The compass would not flip at the equator; it would flip at the poles. It has to do with how the field lines are manifest. So
I'm not talking the flip part now, Jew. I'm saying like where it's pointing and if it's behaving erratic, and they're pretty close enough there.
See, my thing is that because we know that Antarctica is kind of like a continent now. Have you talked to those guys about like being able to get to like Africa and Australia or like New Zealand to Antarctica? Like, because that would basically confirm that all those 3 southern ends of the continent have to be close to Antarctica.
Can you kind of repeat the end? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like if you could like talk to the guys there, how like how people get from Antarctica, like fuck, I'm trying to think the right way to like.
Well, I think basically saying like to ask those guys there. I think you're saying like ask those guys if like other people have like flown. Like, do they know like, hey, if you fly that way, do you get to Africa? If you fly that, like the idea that of the what the globe would be. But there's actually a way on a planar surface you could have Antarctica as a continent as well, with all the continents pointing to it. But I think is that what you're asking? Like kind of how like if they know they're like, oh, if you fly that way, you'll get to Africa, or if you fly that way, like as the globe purports.
Yeah, like if they can claim that within a certain distance, people can fly from like within a short period of time from any of those like 3 points that reach Antarctica, it would have to confirm that all of those landscapes are near the Antarctic continent, which would totally go against the AE model. So that would mean that all the geography is wrong on the AE model, and it would all have to be redistributed.
Yeah, so what I know is I guess there's supposedly another company that does it out of Africa. And there's only 3 total companies that have been approved to kind of do something like this. And I don't really know. It seems like they all want to take over the peninsula. I don't know what the Africa company does, to be honest.
I do know White Desert. Are you talking about White Desert?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in South Africa. Of course, that name, like White Desert's kind of classic, like snowy desert. But they have like, dude, I was looking at their website and they've got they have a camp that looks awesome. They've got these like big like UFO looking like building like tent or like buildings that you stay in. Like it looks almost kind of futuristic, but I think it's not quite at like 80 though. That one was like 74 degrees or something. Like it's not as south. But that one they claim flies from South Africa to Antarctica. So that one does claim
Hey,
you leave from Cape Town or whatever and fly there. So
if some of the employees there are willing to have their answers recorded to a question you asked them, now that we know that the same company or whatever offers like plane trips to like the South Pole itself, then you could ask them why do they think that you can take a plane ride to the pole and then back wherever you came from, and which is the same distance of just crossing it entirely. Because like the whole holdup, right, is supposed to be like, oh, planes don't fly because there's regulations about how close you need to be from some sort of safe space refueling station or rescue workers be able to get to you or whatever. But if they're flying all the way down there and back, then that's the same distance as just crossing it entirely. And maybe they'd, I don't know, maybe tell you, oh, we want to not disturb the penguins or something, but there's planes going anyways, so why aren't there flights over Antarctica happening?
it's a good question. You would think it would just be a port that you could go anywhere from there if it really was the South Pole. Yeah, you could just pick your one you want to go to if it was.
Yeah. See, I guess like the curious question would be like, do they know how far they are from the other stations, and of which other flights could reach to those stations from those other continents, so that you can kind of know the distance that they would be able to confirm that they could like reach those places, in which then other people can reach those, because then you would kind of have a good, like it would be able to confirm like how far they're actually able to go, I guess, like if they have made those trips to those other camps. Because like if they know that they can reach them within a certain period of time, like or like travel a certain distance, then there would have to be something wrong with the AE model. And from some of the things I've looked at, it seems to be suggesting that that is the case.
Things like what is it, like working out whether these companies are like, what's the network down there? Like, do they share supplies? Has there ever been a case where you've needed to like emergency drop something from one camp to another because you could get it there faster, and there already happened to be a plane heading in that direction? Who knows? Like just like events. How do they deal with emergencies like in that situation, or how do they deal with it like times when I don't know, maybe fuel line gets corrupted or something? You need to go out for a part. Like, who do you go to? Oh, these guys got a spare one. I would imagine if you're so far out in such a distant place, you'd be inclined to help one another. You know what I mean? Like it'd be in their like common interest to share resources like that.
Mhm.
And we created something of a network down there, especially working on the fringes of the world. I don't know, just that would be interesting, I think.
Well, I'm sure they're all owned by the same people. NASA. I'm just joking. Well, there is a claim that all the companies are actually owned by like the same family. You guys heard about that? But I don't know all the details on it. But there's only like the few companies that send people to Antarctica are like owned by the same people. But I don't know the details on it. I heard someone say that.
While you're having conversations with these employees, I know they're probably not government employees, but you might want to pick their brain about what they know about those. What's that one particle they say they have a detector down there for?
Neutrino.
Yeah, you might. Yeah, I know they're probably not involved in that too much, but they might at least be more familiar than the average Joe on where it is and how many people man it. I don't know, just whatever questions you could ask them about that crazy shit they claim to have going on down there.
Witsit is no longer in the chat.
Yeah,
just,
he dropped
just
out.
FYI.
Yeah, Witsit dropped out.
Oh well, he'll
Okay,
be back. And if anyone else wants to kind of go down this line of questioning and like give them clues, like what questions might be good, because I think that might be so interesting to sort of work out whether or not how close are they, like, as far as a community that hang out in Antarctica. Because if they're all coming in, like each separate company has its own private charter, there is no sharing of goods or services. There's no sharing of expertise. I mean, that'd be so bizarre. I get it, like that it's high security down there, which might sort of tend to narrow the channels of communication. But if every single one of these companies is coming from a different part of the world to a very specific camp, only to that camp in Antarctica, and then going back, I don't know. I just find that a little bit curious.